Hello, and welcome back to my Fire Emblem 8 Ephraim Reverse Recruitment LTC, brought to you by Typhoon Carter. Today we have Chapter 18. Chapter 18 is the last route map in the game, and it's a map that is known for one particular gimmick, in that there are eggs on the field that you have to smash, and in a route map you can only really destroy them during player phase, and they will eventually hatch, but that won't be a problem here. Now, you might have noticed that I also gave Vanessa an Angelic Robe. This is so that she can take a hit from one of the Gorgons, because the Gorgons would otherwise one-shot her, and this is so we can manipulate the Gorgon's AI. And this map is pretty tough to LTC, as far as if you're trying to get to the turn floor as close as possible. And then in this chapter we're going to be using the rescue staff and the warp staff rather liberally, because we're going to need as many uses out of it as we can, as we have that rescue plus warp combo to get Amelia up north. Now, this chapter, one thing to note is that because we didn't get the purge, we can't quite save a turn here, because you would need purge in order to get 3 turns, but without the purge, getting 4 turns is doable, but we had to do a little bit of preparation beforehand. One of the things that we had to prepare was we had to set up some low use javelins, as we have to manipulate some of the AI. And there are also lava tiles in this map. For those who have played the Binding Blades Chapter 8X, this might be familiar in some regards. Now, part of our strategy here is that the Shadowshot Gorgon, we have to try and manipulate their movement into going into these fire tiles, as they will take damage, and we can't really afford to really get kills on said Gorgon, and also because one of the units that we're going to be sending just does not have enough hitting power to really cleanly 1-round KO, which is the other reason, so we need other means to weaken. And Amelia here, we got time to 1-round KO a lot of these generics that might say be too bulky for us, as we're mostly focused on destroying these eggs. And cracking these eggs basically gives a crap ton of experience, and that phantom was placed there so that the Gorgon with Shadowshot can take damage, and reinforcements show up, but this isn't really too much of an issue, as we do have some sacred weapons that deal effective damage. And Inez here puts that Longbow, which we bought for about 1,000 gold from preps, and the last real thing we had to prep for that we needed to do shopping for. That Longbow is going to come in handy a couple more times, as there are some spots that we need him to reach that he can just barely reach with the Longbow. And then we have Amelia start putting that Sigmund to use, so that she can start killing stuff easily. Now, Cormag, you might have noticed, had a free use Javelin. This is going to come in handy later, as the boss has stone, which we did see earlier, and stone does exactly what you think it does. It's kind of like Frasia's final boss Veld, who has the stone spell, which can completely paralyze. But in this case here, stone has free range and whatnot, but it's not quite the same properties. And we have Sally here repair the warp staff. This does 2 things. One, it repairs the warp, and the second thing is that the Hammerne staff gives a lot of staff experience, as we are basically rushing Sally to reach warp rank. And then we do a lot more warping here. There's just going to be a ton of warping for a lot of these units. And this map, as you saw earlier, has some zone reinforcements. Playing around one of these said zone reinforcements is going to be pretty nice too, and Cyrene gets to put that Adhamla to use, and getting her to S rank swords is pretty handy here. And then now Tana here, by going to this section of the map, there's like no way to avoid reinforcements triggering, but like she has time to like take care of all of the enemies within that vicinity. And then once again we see the Gorgon boss just trying to stone Cormag, but like Stone has pretty crappy hit. And Cormag's pretty much just a monster by this point, and he's just going to stomp enemies like it's nobody's business. Yeah, these like sacred weapons are just complete overkill. Now, the other thing that we will have to do is we're actually going to have one of the phantoms going to a lava tile. This is because of the fact that Null can only, or summoners in general can only summon one phantom at a time, so we gotta have one of them intentionally killed off. And then now the Gorgon was weakened enough for Vanessa to get like a pretty easy kill. Wow, another time where the Longbow comes in clutch as Inez just takes out that Mogul. The bow rank increase is nice, but it doesn't really matter. And then yeah, Tana can just chill. What is going to be real tight is taking care of the eggs in the northeast section. So we're going to need to be very precise with our movements, or at least relatively precise. While Amelia and Cyrene take care of some eggs here, Cormag here has to set up this 2-use Javelin put down to 1 use to destroy this egg. Now what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate the Gorgon boss into attacking Cormag at 2 range, so that because the AI kind of values breaking weapons, so by doing this makes the 4-turn a little bit more less of a pain to pull off per se. And yeah, we just gotta warp our paladins up here, as we're just gonna need all of them around to like destroy those last few eggs that we gotta crack. And Sally here's just getting a barrier for like more staff rank. He's going to reach it by like the end of this map, give or take. And Kyle, unfortunately, for being really underwhelming, we have to rely on a Killer Lance crit to kill that Gorgon, and he'll take some damage but won't really matter too much in a grand scheme of things. And Franz here with just enough move is actually useful and takes out that egg with a Javelin. Now with this enemy phase, not too much action going on here. And then Tana here just 2-round KOs most of these enemies with ease. And that spider getting crit was totally unnecessary. And now if Tana didn't miss there, then I could have just used like a stronger weapon to like make sure I can get a better kill, but that's okay. And yeah, so we got spiders showing up as reinforcements, but Cyrene just showing off her nice S rank weapon, as this is relatively free, and on turn 4 the movement was we were just barely able to reach these spots on time. And then Cal here with a low use Javelin But that's okay because Franz barely reaches one of the other eggs, and we're just gonna do a little trade chain to have Kyle ready to like kill one of the spiders. And luckily he only has to face one spider, as we're gonna have Cormag block off that Gorgon's movement completely. And then Vanessa is just like doing her thing. Now you might have noticed that there are some eggs on like the mid-right section of the map, and you're probably wondering how we're going to reach that. Now that phantom that we sacrificed during enemy phase was done for a particular reason, and it'll all make sense in a moment. But first we gotta warp Tethys. And we gotta warp Tethys to that spot, as we're gonna have no summon a demon, and then we're gonna have no danced. And then Inez will take care of the rest. And the nice thing about these zone reinforcements is that they show up at the end of the turn, and not at the start. And normally, because in vanilla FE8 we would have to like maneuver very carefully around here and save until the last turn. It's not too different here, as the phantoms just come in real handy, and training Inez is showing its payoff here, as Inez came in pretty nicely here. And yeah, this area is more or less cleared. And Tana's just gotta take care of this egg. And then she's got like another like 1 to 2 range weapon, so she'll be okay. And she just gotta land her hits, and those extra level ups will certainly help in that regard. Now we just gotta do a little bit of a RN burn, as Kyle does have a slight chance of death, but that's okay. And we repaired our warp staff so that we don't have to repair it next chapter, and yeah, Sally reaches A rank staves, so that means he'll be able to warp for chapter 20. And with this enemy phase, it's pretty free, nothing too complicated here. And Kyle gets a timely critical hit, as he had a decent chance of doing so, but reliability is totally my passion. And with that gargoyle gone, that is chapter 18 cleared in 4 turns. I'll see you guys next time.